Good day everyone, I am teacher Angelica. Together with teacher Kezzhan, we will be learning the 14 punctuation marks in English grammar. So, are you ready? I bet you are. So let's start. Punctuations are marks used to create sense, clarity, and stress in sentences. We use punctuation marks to structure and organize our writing. It has been said that trying to write without understanding punctuations is like trying to build a house without nails. It will look awful and no one will want to come near it. You wouldn't want that to happen, right? So be acquainted with these 14 punctuations, starting with the period. The period is placed at the end of declarative sentences, statements thought to be complete, and after many abbreviations and initials. Take these examples. I know him well. Caleb went to school. Dr. Amy, Miss Faye, George R.R. Martin, and J.K. Rowling. Question mark is used to indicate a direct question when placed at the end of a sentence, like these examples. Will you go out with me? Did you take a cab? Are you looking for a job? Just an important note, when it comes to question marks, some sentences are statements or demands in the form of question. They are called rhetorical questions because they do not require or expect an answer. Many should be written without question marks, like these examples. Why don't you take a break? Would the kids knock it off? What wouldn't I do for you? The exclamation point is used when a person wants to express a sudden outcry or to add an emphasis, like these examples. Wow, that's amazing! Ouch, the coffee is hot. So do not use an exclamation point in formal business writing because overuse of exclamations is a sign of undisciplined writing. Do not use even one of these marks unless you're convinced that it is justified. Even in creative writing, writers must be able to convey extreme emotions through words and vivid descriptions and not merely relying on the use of exclamation points. The period, question mark, and exclamation point are the punctuations used in sentence endings. Let us now come to the punctuations indicating pause in a series, and these are the comma, semicolon, and a colon. A comma is used to show a separation of ideas or elements within the structure of a sentence. Here are some of its uses. First, in directly addressing people, we use a comma. For example, good day, Captain. Yes, old friend, I will. Will you, Anne, do that assignment for me? It is also used to separate a city from its state, like these examples. I'm from the Akron, Ohio. I want to go to Lynchburg, Tennessee. A comma is used to separate the day of the month from the year. Like the project was finished last October 7, 2020. Use commas to separate words and word groups in a simple series of 3 or more items, like this sentence. My estate goes to my husband, son, daughter-in-law, and nephew. In sentences where two independent clauses are joined by connectors such as and, or, but, etc., put a comma at the end of the first clause, like this example. He walked all the way home, and he shut the door. Use a comma to separate a statement from a question, like this sentence. I can go, can I? Next is a semicolon. It's no accident that a semicolon is a period atop a comma. Like commas, semicolons indicate an audible pause, slightly longer than commas, but short of a period's full stop. So a semicolon can replace a period if the writer wishes to narrow the gap between two closely linked sentences, like these examples. Call me tomorrow. You can give me an answer then. We have paid our dues. We expect all the privileges listed in the contract. Use semicolon to separate units of a series when one or more of the units contain commas. Example: the conference has people who have come from Moscow, Idaho, Springfield, California, Alamo, Tennessee, and other places as well. A colon means that is to say, or here's what I mean. Colons and semicolons should never be used interchangeably. So first, use a colon to indicate a series of items. Do not capitalize the first item after the colon unless it's a proper noun. For example, I want the following items: butter, sugar, and flour. Use a colon rather than a comma to follow the salutation in a business letter, even when addressing someone by his or her first name. For example, Dear Miss Smith. Next is the dash. A dash is used to separate words into statements. There are two common types of dashes, the en dash and the em dash. An en dash is twice as long as a hyphen. The en dash is a symbol that is used in writing or printing to indicate a range, connection, or differentiation. For example, 2020 to 2021, Princeton, New York trace. The em dash is longer than the en dash. It can be used in place of a comma, parenthesis, or colon to enhance readability or emphasize the conclusion of a sentence. Take this example. She gave him her answer. No.
Good day everyone, I am teacher Kezzhan, and today I'm going to continue the discussion on the punctuation marks used in English grammar. So, next is a hyphen. A hyphen is used to join two or more words together into a compound term and is not separated by spaces. For example, part-time, back-to-back, well-known, chocolate-covered donuts. In a sentence, I have lost my water bottle. I love to eat my favorite chocolate-covered donuts. Let us now come to the punctuations that are used to contain words that are a further explanation or are considered as a group. Brackets. These are squared off notations used for technical explanation or to clarify meaning. So if you remove the information in the brackets, the sentence will still make sense. For example, he, Mr. Quark, was the last person seen at the house. She, Margot, is a great friend of us. Next is the braces. These are used to contain two or more lines of text or listed items to show that they are considered as a unit. They are not commonplace in most writing, but can be seen in computer programming to show what should be contained within the same lines. They can be used in mathematical expressions. For example, 1 plus 23 minus 3 is equals to x. In a sentence, she highlighted 6 numbers, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 on the ruler she made. Lastly, the parentheses are curved notation used to contain further thoughts or qualifying remarks. However, note that parentheses can be replaced by commas without changing the meaning in most cases. For example, Felix and Feliz, who were actually half brother and sister, both have red hair. Use parentheses to enclose information that clarifies or is used as an aside. For example, he finally answered after taking 5 minutes to think that he did not understand the question. So let's move on to the final 3 punctuation forms in English grammar. These are the apostrophe, quotation marks, and ellipsis. Unlike previously mentioned grammatical marks, they are not related to one another in any form. An apostrophe is used to indicate the omission of a letter or letter from a word, the possessive case, or the plurals of the lowercase letters. For example, I've seen that drama several times. She wasn't the only one who knew the answer. Laura's dog beat the neighbor. 6 people were told to mind their P's and Q's. The next is the quotation marks. These are a pair of punctuation marks used primarily to mark the beginning and end of a passage attributed to another and repeated word for word. They are also used to indicate meanings or to indicate the unusual or vague status of a word. In this sentence, "Don't go outside," she said. Kai said, "I really hate when it's hot outside." Single quotation marks are used frequently for quotes within quotes. For example, Colton told the teacher, "I saw Yunjin at the playground, and he said to me, Chun started the fight, and I believed him." Lastly, the ellipsis is most commonly represented by 3 periods, although it is occasionally demonstrated with 3 asterisks. The ellipsis is used in writing or printing to indicate an omission, especially of letters or words. Ellipses are frequently used within quotations to jump from one phrase to another, omitting unnecessary words that do not interfere with the meaning. Students writing research papers or newspapers quoting parts of speeches will often employ ellipses to avoid copying lengthy text that is not needed. In this sentence, where we use ellipses under omission of words, for example, she began to count 1, 2, 3, 4 until she got to 10, then went to find him. We use ellipses within a quotation. For example, when Newton stated, "An object at rest stays at rest, and an object in motion stays in motion," he developed the law of motion. And that was all about our topic, punctuations. Remember, punctuations are used to show pauses and to emphasize specific concepts or thoughts that are conveyed in a text. Punctuation accuracy is very important in academic writing because it serves to enhance arguments presented in a text. Learning and familiarizing the essential punctuation marks in the English language will help you express yourself more clearly in your writing. Punctuation marks will also help the reader grasp your words more clearly. So that's it. I hope you've all learned and comprehended the topic well. Thank you for listening. Keep safe, everyone.